Some of the tweet that landed her in that hot water here. It was posted to Twitter last Thursday under the account @mostly_hated. It says, "Black women raising boys, please stop letting your sons pick up your female traits. I have an expletive boys in my class. I know you'll have some men around somewhere. This expletive is getting ridiculous." Now, this comment got some quick reactions when I showed it to some parents in person today.
You can't just be out here in the streets. But that's what it seems. It seems like when you read these comments, she's out there venting. You're not posting anything for people to how to correct this stuff.
We'll be saying these things about some of these kids like, yo, man, these kids is wildin'.
You're not posting anything beneficial to them to go get the aid to do it.
If you are a parent that are doing what you're supposed to do with your kids, you're not gonna be offended by her comments. You're most likely gonna agree with them.
No, that comment that she said about that, you can miss me with that one. So go ahead and put the PSA out there, but then go ahead and put some stuff to help these people too.
No, but she did say stuff. She's like, yo, have the family at home, bring structure into these kids' life, yada, yada.
I feel like you doing it because you venting.
It's a matter of opinion. If I'm right, but I'm leaving off for now to go outside, putting chores and obligations on our part.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Matter of Opinion. I'm your boy, Walls P.
I'm your girl, Erica.
Now, on today's episode, we got a controversial topic that happens to be with a school teacher, a former substitute school teacher out of Maryland. Now, the substitute teacher has been removed from the classroom after taking to social media to send harsh messages to Black mothers. Now, some of the things that she said on social media are, "Black women raising boys, please stop letting your sons pick up your female traits. I have the biggest boys in my class. I know y'all have some men around somewhere. This ish is getting ridiculous." She also made other tweets such as, "Third day of school and I made another kid cry. These fifth graders never had a teacher from the hood I see. I won't be spoken to any kind of way. I will gather a child quickly and respectfully and still bring them to tears." And then another controversial tweet she made was, "Kids need to get bullied. Bullying doesn't just stop with childhood. How will they be ready for an adult bully? The no bullying thing is dumb." Now, since she took to social media to post about the parents, like I said, she has been removed from that school.
Some of the tweet that landed her in that hot water here. It was posted to Twitter last Thursday under the account @mostly_hated. It says, "Black women raising boys, please stop letting your sons pick up your female traits. I have an expletive boys in my class. I know you'll have some men around somewhere. This expletive is getting ridiculous." Now, this comment got some quick reactions when I showed it to some parents in person today. Some of the tweet that landed her in that hot water here. It was posted to Twitter last Thursday under the account @mostly_hated. It says, "Black women raising boys, please stop letting your sons pick up your female traits. I have an expletive boys in my class. I know you'll have some men around somewhere. This expletive is getting ridiculous." Now, this comment got some quick reactions when I showed it to some parents in person today.
It's not with that type of behavior.
Honestly, with a lot of the way teachers are, a lot of them do teach like they just don't say it.
She could have said, like, put them in male mentoring programs, things like that. But for her to just come off and say something like that, it's just atrocious.
Now, online, a number of comments were defending Robinson, some essentially arguing she's a victim of cancel culture. Those upset with the substitute also flagged other questionable posts. Now, we can't see those posts for ourselves. Her account was listed as private this morning, but different messages screen grabbed by others appear to say kids need to get bullied. It goes on to say the no bullying thing is dumb. Another says these fifth graders never had a teacher from the hood I see. I will gather a child quickly and respectfully and still bring them to tears. A third appears to read, "So when I look at my student who thinks it's cute being bad, I just wonder how long it's going to take for them to land in jail."
My question to you is, are you pro or against what this woman did as far as like the tough love for students?
Okay, so y'all gonna be mad, but I'm against her. And the reason I'm against her, one, you're a substitute teacher. You're a fill-in. You're not the normal teacher for this group. It doesn't matter if you substituted for this group for 3 days or 3 weeks. You do not have the rapport of the main teacher of that class to know these batches of kids that you're going in to teach. So, do I feel like that might have been your view at the time of the class that you were in? Yes. But I feel like as a teacher, your job is to teach. It is not to belittle kids. It is not to take to your social media to explain the steps that you're having in a classroom that you're not going to be in for 190 plus days for that school year. It's a difference if you were the full teacher of that classroom, you have the one-on-one conversations with these kids, you build a rapport with their families, and then if you still have these issues, it's still not your place as the teacher to take it to social media. Your place as the teacher is to make sure that these kids have the skills to move on to the next grade. It is not for you to downgrade a child. It's not for you to downgrade the way that this child is being raised because you are not in this child's parent or guardian situation. That's the first thing. Two, I don't like the comments that you're making about the class, but I do like the comments that you're making about the structure of the Black family. So it's
Hold on.
hard.
Let me ask you because I didn't really hear her make any comments, so to speak, about the class, so to speak. It seemed like to me the way I perceived it was her comments was more so attack of the parents of not doing their job, and it trickled down to the children's behavior.
See, but that's the thing, though. Maybe I took the first one of the boys in our class being, the B word.
Acting like bees or whatever.
Correct. But my thing is, how do you know that's not how that particular child just acts in general? There is no set, this is how a boy is supposed to act, this is how a girl is supposed to act at those ages. These are how children are acting. One. Two, because you are a substitute teacher, and I'm not going to say this to be mean, but substitute teachers do not get treated the same as the primary teacher of a classroom. You are the fill-in. These
But
kids don't have a rapport with you. And yes,
but
they're supposed to respect the person that comes in, but how many times being in school as a kid did you be like, oh, this is about to be a fun day because it was a substitute? So no, as a substitute, I'm not saying you don't have the right as a substitute teacher to make these assumptions of these classes.
but here's the thing though, because I remember going to school and you had substitute teachers that came in, but them substitute teachers, if the class was getting out of hand, would put their foot down and show authority. Because my thing is, I understand the point that you're saying about um, kids should have respect and everything, but it's a substitute teacher, yada yada. But you got to look at it from this: if she's not tough on them in the classroom, so to speak, where it's a controlled environment, and these are traits that they pick up and carry on as life goes on, what's going to make you respect authority later down the line? Because if you don't correct these behaviors within kids and when they're young, it's going to continue down that path. And my thing is, I would rather it be corrected in a controlled environment from a teacher as opposed to you out in the street and it's being corrected from law enforcement who can possibly take your life, or a group of other kids that can jump you or beat you down, leave you hospitalized, or beat you to death, so to speak. So I hear where you're coming from. Clearly, you see, I'm on the side that I agree with her, but though I agree with her, I don't agree full heartedly with the bullying part that she said. But I do understand it where it's like sometimes we're pacifying these kids. Like, for instance, when it comes to like sports and competition and stuff, everybody gets a trophy. No, you got to teach that kid to, yo, you lost. You was in second place. You got to strive to do better. Don't just settle. So that's how I took it when she's talking about the bullying part. It's like we're coddling these kids. So if we're coddling these kids, how can they be prepared later down the life to actually deal with real situations if they've been coddled all their life?
Yeah, but I don't feel it's being coddled on the end of you have kids that are being bullied and taking their own lives. So if you have a bully policy, guess what? You eliminate some of those things in school because these kids do get mean. You have kids that, because they're still developing, they take off on harder than they should. So no, that comment about the kids and bring bullies back to school, no. People put them laws in place and those rules in place for schools because these kids were taking it to the extreme and the schools were sweeping it under the rug. Oh, it's just boys being boys or girls being girls. No. Somebody had to be held accountable, which is why there are zero tolerance policies and no bullying policies. So no, that comment that she said about that, you can miss me with that one because that is a harsh comment. No, I was not a child that was bullied, but guess what? If I was a child being bullied, I would want protection. I would want to be able to have an outlet to be able to go tell the teacher or go tell the administrator and tell my parents. Do you not understand how many times kids don't say nothing? This stuff is going on in school and they say nothing.
See, here's the thing. I think that's more of a detriment to the parents, which is why I agree with everything she was saying. Because I believe that there are kids that are bullied and they say something. And when they tell these kids' parents, those kids' parents don't take action to do anything about it. Why do you think you see these students nowadays are punching and fighting teachers and all this stuff like this, jumping these teachers? If they speak to the parents and nothing gets corrected, then what are we doing here? And a lot of these parents will up and jump and take these kids' side no matter what, because that's the kind of persona they have in their household where it's like, oh, you got to be hard. You got to be tough. Don't take crap from nobody. My son, he ain't going to take crap from nobody. My daughter not going to do this. So if that's what you're preaching to these children, what makes you not think they're going to bring that to school and they're going to have the mentality of, oh, these teachers can't touch me. I could do whatever I want to do, yada, yada. So no, she's right. These parents need to step up and do what they have to do. And if you are a parent that are doing what you're supposed to do with your kids, you're not going to be offended by her comments. You're most likely going to agree with them. But if you're a parent who that strikes a nerve, then that means that something that she said strikes a nerve because that's something that you're doing.
See, but I see the opposite direction. I don't see that it's striking a nerve. I felt like she's the person that's in. You're saying what shouldn't be said just to get a reaction, or you're making these kind of comments because think about it. You as a teacher, you chose that profession. You chose to be a substitute teacher. So that means your comments should also be altered because guess what? Your employees and employers look at your comments. You don't think they're going to hold you accountable for them actions? They will.
But here's my thing, though. Who's to say she didn't say that to basically send a message to these parents? Because on social media, these messages aren't going to kids, a fifth grade or whatever the case may be. Why are you having your kids on social media looking at adult people's profiles to begin with? So these are comments that are being directed to the parents to, yo, get your stuff together. Be better parents for these children. So these children aren't hearing this stuff from the teacher. You get what I'm saying? These are directed strictly to the parents. Now, she did say, hey, a kid was acting up and I corrected him in a respectful way and it brought him to tears, so to speak. Clearly, she wasn't reprimanded for it because she wasn't kicked out of the classroom or anything for that reason. It was because of the backlash of what the parents said along with the tweets. So as far as doing anything detrimental to hurt that child, I don't believe that took place because the investigation by now would have been cracked open and, something would have been said. So I strongly believe she did that on purpose to strike a nerve to them parents because it's like, yo, these kids are a piece of work. And let's admit it, these kids are a piece of work. And how many times, even between like, if me and you were talking, we'll be saying these things about some of these kids like, yo, man, these kids is wilding. So just think about these teachers that go through this.
Between having a conversation with somebody and you blatantly calling out the parents of this school going, they got the BS kids.
Check this out.
That is not acceptable.
If my son was in a school who was being bullied by kids that were doing that, and that teacher put out that tweet, oh, I'm loving it. Because now that's putting the accountability on them kids for what my child is going through on that school. And after going to the school and all these other things to try and get things, corrected, and it's not, oh, I'm happy she said what she said.
But this is the thing, though. I don't think she's saying this to put recognition out there, though. I feel like you doing it because you venting. You can't
You
just be
think
out
so?
here in the streets. But that's what it seems. It seems like when you read these comments, she's out there venting. You're not posting anything for people to how to correct this stuff. You're not posting anything beneficial to them to go get the aid to do it. So go ahead and put the PSA out there, but then go ahead and put some stuff to help these people too. So you calling people out just to call people out.
No,
That's
but
a
she did
problem.
say stuff. She's like, yo, have the family in the home, bring structure into these kids' life, yada, yada. I don't see her saying anything that was derogatory towards the parents, so to speak. It was basically, yo, do better job parenting with these kids. She didn't say, yo, you parents are trash or y'all slutty. None of that. She basically just said, yo, check your kids, make them act right. What's wrong with
Correct.
that? What's
But
wrong
my
with that?
thing is, but why do you have to be explicit word about the kids? I think that's the other thing. It's one thing to be like, yo, I'm in these classrooms, these kids need to do better. But you calling them the B as kids?
She didn't
No,
call
that's
them
the
to be.
problem.
She said they're acting. They're acting like
Correct.
that's a
But
trait. That's not
acting
saying.
and
But
that
that
and putting that negative word there defeated your whole message.
I don't think so because
Because you could have
if I
used you could have used a completely different word choice and you would have got more respect for
yeah,
that post.
but sometimes guess what? It takes you to speak that language, so to speak, for it to strike a nerve and be heard. Because we're talking about, I believe, I'm not too sure if this was Baltimore, Maryland, that this happened in, but if
It's
this
PC
was
County. It's Prince George County, so it is Maryland.
okay, yeah. So you're speaking right up their language. If I go on the block to speak to some thugs, I got to speak to their language for them to get what I'm saying, so to speak. And I'm not saying these parents are thugs, but you get what I'm saying. You got to speak their language for them to really get the gist of what you're saying. So, like I said, I know we're on the opposite sides of the fence on this, but I agree with it. And I don't feel like what she did was wrong. I felt like she put accountability on the parents, strictly, mainly mothers. That's
See,
what
and
I feel like she did.
okay, so and maybe, like I said, maybe word choice, what have you, it's gonna make a whole bunch of people shut you down just because. Because think about it, your message you could have gotten more things done to me with honey than you do with vinegar. And I feel like that's what she's getting. The reaction that you got from these tweets then caused you to lose your job. These reactions from these tweets are putting you back to square one. So if your message was to go and help the people of the school district, you lost the whole district because now you don't have you don't really have a platform to do it, and you can't even help the kids that you went to inspire to go help.
I can agree with the part of saying, hey, maybe she could have changed some of the language, but she's talking to black mothers here. And in my opinion, this is my opinion here, I don't care how she would have said it. These black mothers still would have came at her with the way they did and made it seem like, oh, she's being so disrespectful, yada, yada. Like people always talk about when it comes to speaking to black women, your delivery matters. Well, explain to me Monique, who had the most perfect delivery talking about bonnets, and they went in on her. So is it really about the bonnet? Not bonnet. Is it really about how you deliver it? Or is it about you don't want to be held accountable? Because I honestly feel no matter how she would have said it, they would have came for her.
See, I don't know. And the reason is, like I said, being a parent, I don't take kindly to the craziness, the side way talking. I'd rather you pull me to the side, case by case, and be like, hey, this is the plan that we're going to help you create to make sure that your kid excels. Guess what? You don't have these individual conversations, and you're going, even if you sent that message as a way to get the attention of some of these people, you've missed the mark by your delivery.
But like you said, she's a substitute teacher, so she doesn't know when she's going to be there again. So how is she going to develop a one-on-one conversation or pull the parent to the side and everything like that? This is the first time she had it. So for all you know, for her mental health, her going online and posting this could have been her way of being therapeutic for her.
Maybe. But guess what?
So,
As a substitute, you really can't do no changing. You can't. You don't change a lesson plan. You don't change anything. You basically doing whatever the teacher has already established. So your role is fill-in. So you chose the role as fill-in. That's what you have to do. You go fill in and make sure this class get taught and move on to your next assignment.
but at the end of the day, she still had every right to vent. And the way she vented to me wasn't disrespectful. Yes, she may have lost her job, but I don't see her protesting, talking about, oh, the way I lost my job was wrong, whatever, yada, yada. To me, it seemed like, yo, she's standing her ground with what she did. That was the consequence that came with it. It is what it is. But it still doesn't detract from the fact that what she's saying about these kids, these parents need to actually check themselves and check those kids. So the fact that there's attention and awareness brought to it, to me, mission accomplished.
See, but I don't think so. Because think about it. You have everybody on their platform talking. Did you hear one word or another from the school district that they put in their rules to change? No. So this is so to me, you missed the mark. Because if you really, really wanted to make a difference, you would have went around and figured out who to talk to put those changes in place. And you didn't.
I don't care what she would have done. They're not going to put stuff in place, in my opinion, when it comes to a school that's predominantly Black or whatever the case may be, because we see it in a lot of impoverished schools. Well, let me not say schools that are predominantly Black, impoverished schools, impoverished areas, because you'll see kids walking there with guns, the whole nine, doing all this stuff, and somebody gets killed in class or whatever the case may be, and they still make no change. So if the school district don't care, if the parents are showing that they don't care, I'm going to speak my mind on it. It's therapeutic for me. Look, at the end of the day, we agree to disagree, but I love what she had to say.
And I was going to say, on my end, I feel like delivery could have been a lot different. You might have got some results.
I guess at that point, we got to leave it to the subscribers and those who watch the video. So for those of you who agree with my point or agree with Erica's points, let us know in the comment section, because at the end of the day, you guys will be the deciding factor, and your opinion matters on Matter of Opinion. So definitely get those Twitter fingers going and let us know what you think in the comment section. If this is your first time here, definitely hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you can be updated on content like this. Those who are subscribed, we appreciate you sticking with us, supporting us, the whole 9 yards. If you want to follow us on our other social media platforms, the links are in the description. Don't forget to like and share the video. That's how you help the channel grow. So with that being said, thanks for watching another episode of Matter of Opinion. I'm your boy, Walls P.
I'm your girl, Erica.
And we will catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
It's a matter of opinion.